What's going on YouTube? It's Alan back at it again with another minis movie review. Today I'm going to be discussing Hereditary. So right now Hereditary is getting a lot of hype as being like one of the scariest horror films of all time, as per usual, just like previous, another A24 film like The Witch. They're like, oh my god, it's so great and blah blah blah. The Witch was good in its own right, but that movie's more of a drama. And that was my thing going into this movie. I was worried it was going to be another Witch, where it has horror elements, but it's just typically more of a drama. Hereditary, no. And then another thing people were saying, oh, Hereditary is a slow burn, it's kind of boring, and blah blah blah. Again, I've seen a plethora of slow burn horror films that are just drag and drag and drag, and they're completely slow, and I understand that. But no, this movie pulls no punches. It's a fantastic. This is how a slow burn horror film should be done, just like it was masterfully done. The hype, I don't mean to agree, but the hype is real. Like the hype was actually real for this movie. I went in with low expectations, didn't see any trailers, which I highly recommend. Don't see any trailers with it. Basic plot is just a supernatural horror film. Stuff happens to a family. That's pretty much all you really need to know. It sounds really typical like other horror films, but honestly, just go in with that mindset and you're gonna love it. It's a wonderfully, masterfully done horror film. Toni Collette just, oh, she's just amazing. She just does everything right. Like she is just so visceral, so powerful. Like there's just scenes where like I just wanted to cry just because she was so intense and so believable. Like as just this mom dealing with like turmoil and trauma. I don't want to say too much because then it spoils the movie. Um, Ari Aster though directed and wrote the movie. He did a great job. Like he used really great techniques. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's just by Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist." I don't know about that. Like there's some instances where yes, I can kind of agree, but as a film that ranks up there, it's pretty well done. And I can see how some people might think, "Oh, it's not that great." I know a lot of audiences, apparently right now it's very 50-50, and a lot of audiences are kind of in that like, oh, you know what, it's too slow for me. It's not that slow. It's done incredibly well. And it's also too, it's not your traditional horror film with like a bunch of jump scares that the audiences are obviously very used to. This time around they use great techniques. They have one of my favorite techniques used in the film was when you were a child, you'd wake up in the middle of the night and you would think you would see something at the edge of the corner of your room. They use that kind of technique that I really enjoyed because there was times where you're kind of you're very anxious. You're going, "Oh my god, is that going to come at me? Is that going to scare me?" Like it just keeps you on the edge of your seat, and there's a lot of that technique. I can tell Aster that's his probably technique go to, which he did incredibly well. There's very few jump scares, but there's a lot of moments where the film makes you gasp. Like you're like I so many times like I would put my hand to my mouth, being like, "Oh shit! Like did that just happen?" And sometimes scenes in the film are just powerful and visceral and just like it left you with shock. If anything, it's not like the typical bam, like scares you and loud noises. This is more like I caught myself just going, "Oh my god, that happened! Like holy shit!" So that's one of the highlights of the movie. The slowness, I didn't feel it was slow whatsoever. I felt like it knew when to pick it up. A lot of the problem with a lot of slow burn horror films is that they give you a little bit in the beginning and then they just drown it out. It just takes forever and ever and ever and ever. And then finally you get to the best part of the film, which is the very end, and it's 30 seconds of the reveal, and you're like, oh my god, cool, and then you're kind of just disappointed. I'm incredibly happy to say that this wasn't that. There were just constant times where like I was at the edge of my seat, and um, some people might laugh at certain parts of the movie. I was more like shocked. I mean, when I go into a movie, I try and respect it, and I respect what the filmmakers are trying to do. But yeah, in my theater, some people kind of giggled at certain things, which I was kind of made me unfortunate because they kind of creeped me out. Like I was genuinely creeped out. But nonetheless, I'd say just go in full ham, just low expectations, go in not knowing anything about it, and just boom, dive in. and I guarantee you're gonna enjoy the hell out of it. Especially like me, I'm a big horror guy, and there's been instances where I've been kind of disappointed with horror films where like they have all this hype and it's like, oh okay, and I see it, I'm like, oh well, like that was it. But this one, I think it's gonna be one of the best films of the year. Just the acting was fantastic, the techniques, the scares. Even like when I walked out of the movie, I just had this like, it's powerful. It's just it feels like even the movie itself is still hovering around you like a supernatural presence. It's just there, kind of like still putting that pressure on you that you had while you were watching it. Like I would see it with my girlfriend, and we were both quiet for the while. Like the drive home, we were just kind of like, you know, damn, like just everything felt weird, and everything was like we're looking at every little dark corner we around us, you know. But oh man, trust me, guys. Like I feel like I'm overhyping it, and I'm trying not to. But when I see a good horror film, it excites me just because I want others to see it. I want others to be scared and creeped out as well. And trust me, I'd say just go in. This is all you need to hear. The small description I gave you guys, that is plenty enough that you need to go in. Don't watch any trailers. And I hear that some magazines spoil something that was a big, like the whole theater just gasped and almost yelled at because it was just so out of nowhere and so powerful. And I guarantee you, you hearing me this and you seeing the movie, you're gonna know exactly what I mean. But nonetheless, guys, Hereditary, it's it's a fantastic horror film, beautifully shot, simple but fantastic techniques done for the scares. It's just, and the acting again, just Toni Collette. I can't, you know, blow her as much as I can. She's just wonderful. Like she just, oh, there's just scenes where she's just, it'll make you want to cry. But nonetheless, okay, I'm trying to not overhype it. Again, just go in, no trailers, nothing like that, and enjoy the film. But yeah, that's my review for Hereditary. If I were to give it a letter grade, just for the sake of it, I'll give it a B plus because I still haven't let it set in. I don't want to make it be like my absolute favorite horror film at the same time, but a solid B plus because it was great. But at the same time, again, I'm still letting it sit in. I'm still trying to let it sit. I'm gonna think about it. Just like because the problem with The Witch was I liked The Witch, but that movie immediately when I walked out, I was like, I guess, like it was a film I needed to sit. And then after a week or 2 weeks of thinking about it, I was like, you know what, it was a good movie. But that's a story. That's a review for another day. Excuse me. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it a lot. Please leave comments below. Let me know what you guys thought, if you saw Hereditary, and if you're going to watch it after this review. Come back and let me know what you guys thought. Again, this is Alan for District 6. Again, like and subscribe. All our info down there is below for our Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. You know what it is. But yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in the mix with District 6. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.